Hi everybody, this is Austin Reviews. I'm Jeremy. Unfortunately, Austin won't be here today. He is the first Elden Lord of Nasif, and so he has to do all the duties that come with that. I didn't play Elden Ring, so I don't know what duties he has to do. And I don't know why he can't make time for me. This episode, we're going to be reviewing The Thief Who Spat in Luck's Good Eye. It is the second Amra Thetys book by Michael McClung. It was originally published by Random House under the name Thagoth in 2003. It was the 2002 Del Rey Digital first novel competition winner. He then self-published it under the new title, The Thief Who Spat in Luck's Good Eye, in 2012. The version I have, which is the Kindle version, is just under 200 pages, give or take. Yeah. I've done one of these, and I don't know if I'm doing these so well. We'll see. We'll see when I edit this. Am I going to leave this in? Probably. Alright, here's the summary. Amra is a thief with morals. She won't steal from anyone poorer than she is. Fortunately, anybody that poor generally doesn't have much worth stealing. Holgren is a mage with distaste for magic and a soul bartered away to dark powers. Together, they embark on a quest for the fabled city of Thagoth, where the secret of immortality is rumored to be hidden. That's the back of the book summary. That's pretty much what you would get from Goodreads or the back of the book. Obviously, that's why it's called the back of the book summary. So I'm going to go into my summary now. I've been told by anonymous sources, Austin, that my last summary was a bit of a mess, and it was, because I didn't do a good job, so sorry about that. So I'm going to try and be more concise. This is kind of the stuff that I find that's important from the story. I'm not going to go full in depth with everything that happens. This is really just kind of the major characters. So this book picks up a few months after the thief who pulled on Trouble's braids, with Amra and Holgren kind of basically just living their lives, her as a semi-retired thief and Holgren as a mage doing whatever he wants. Then they are pulled into kind of another adventure. I'm not sure I like that word, but I don't know. By the gods Kurf and Ison, who basically want them to deal with the twin gods Thagoth and Athagos. Yep. Thagoth is unable to die, and his blood or body is able to constantly restore. Athagos brings death and sucks the souls out of people in order to keep her beauty and youth. Thagoth intends to exercise his power as a god to basically rule and make a world of no death or pain. His words, a paradise. Eventually, Athagos grows jealous of Thagoth and partnered with someone that they call the Sorcerer King, in order to kill her brother, lover, both gods. Who knows? The Sorcerer King wanted to use the gods' power, Thagoth and Athagos, in order to kind of rule on his own and take over the world. You know, classic stuff. They try to kill Thagoth, but don't succeed, but don't fully fail either. He basically was impaled close to where his heart is with a magic rod that sucks out all of its regeneration and uses it against him. Because this rod has impaled him, he's unable to move or exert his power. This, because it didn't fully succeed and the Sorcerer King wasn't able to suck his power out, and Athagos, they both kind of peter out. Athagos goes mad, and the Sorcerer King, his body kind of just gets split into three and such. And, like, that's the backstory of why everything is bad in Thagoth. And Amra and Holgren are going to this kind of ruined ancient city to find immortality. They get embroiled with the twin gods through Kurf and Ison's kind of pushing in that direction. And then they go deal with that. They end up freeing Thagoth. They end up killing Athagos, who had killed Thagoth and also killed the Sorcerer King. So the stakes are much higher, and they do world-saving stuff, kind of your average fare. That's the story. Great. I'm glad you're caught up. Good job. So things that I liked were, again, they say the title. It's cheesy. I like it. Don't ask me why. I like the lore in the world. I really like the things that McClung does to expand on the world. This one deals a lot with kind of the Cataclysm and these three main villains that you have, Thagoth, Athagos, and the Sorcerer King, and their interactions with each other and why it came to be such how it is. I really liked that, and I liked how he deals with it. I love Amra and Holgren as characters. I think they're very interesting. They have good interplay between each other and are just generally well written. The other thing that's fun is, personally in this book, I like the little bit of romance because Isen, the goddess, basically says, "Oh, since Kerf, you brought back Holgren after he died, I get to do my stuff too, and I'm gonna make the two of them fall in love." And it's fun and adorable because Amra's like, "I really don't want to deal with this, blah," but then they start saying it. It's cute, and I like that. There are a couple chapters about Kerf and Isen, basically their thoughts on what they are doing with the world and how they're able to interact with it, even though most of the gods have kind of left or been killed or just disappeared. And so that adds, again, more insight of the world and lore, which I really appreciate. I think the writing's good. He's a good writer. It just is interesting stuff. I liked the story, but it was very disconnected from the first one. So I liked it as an independent kind of tale, and that's fine. What I disliked is far more numerous. There were a couple things that I really didn't like. One of them was chapter length. So in the first book, the chapter length was probably like 7 to maybe 15 minutes long. I feel like I get through those pretty quick, and it was, yeah. This book, the chapters were split like 23 minutes to like 30 minutes, which isn't bad, but they could have just been split more, and that would have made the book not necessarily more concise, but feel snappier and been able to get through it a little bit quicker, because I felt like there were times where you needed the break but didn't get it, and things would just keep happening, or it's like, oh, I needed a mental break to grasp what just was told, but you never really got that. And I felt like this book needed more chapters in the sense of it needed to be split more. So this one, even though it is short, it was roughly under like 200 pages, it felt long. It felt so much longer, and I think that was, for me, at least it could have been how I read it, just in chunks and at various points in time and over a longer period of time. But I also think it was the chapter length. That really didn't do it for me, so that's a negative in my mind. The other thing was I didn't care for the setting as much. I really, really liked the urban setting of Lucernus in The Thief Who Pulled on Trouble's Braids. This one is a lot more like Indiana Jones-esque, where we're off exploring ancient ruins and stuff like that. It wasn't bad, it just, he does a much better job in the urban environment and giving the world character. Here, it was like 5 or 6 characters for most of the book. Where in the other one, the Amra and Holgren are constantly interacting with people and non-main characters, and it felt really lively. This one felt barren, which I guess is kind of the point, because no one had lived here for thousands of years and such, but like, it wasn't as good. It didn't appeal to me as much. I liked the urban environment, and so that's personal preference. The other thing, this one actually is a big minus. It felt like this book was not connected to the series. And that makes sense, because this is the book he published first. He published this in 2003 after winning, and this was kind of like an independent novella, and he retrofitted it to fit what he had written after, after the thief who pulled on Trouble's braids. He kind of put it in that little slot, and so it doesn't really connect. There's no mention about the Eightfold Goddess and her blades, or really anything like that. And that, to me, is a huge misstep. Even though this book is he wrote it previously and had to reconnect it to this, I wish he had done more. Because that Eightfold Goddess and her blades is arguably the through line of this whole series that he's going for, and this second book just doesn't have that. And that, I felt like a main story that was missing, and to be honest, that's my major problem with this book, is that story element is not there. Also, another problem is it doesn't have a map still. It's not that big of an issue. I just like maps. My highlights for this one are, I like Holgren, and he ties really heavily into the plot because he's kind of like one of the instigating factors of like, oh, I sold my soul for this power and to be able to use it, and when I die, I will kind of go to hell and be tortured. So I want immortality to deal with this. And so that's one of the instigating causes of why they go to Thagoth to find all this stuff and deal with it. I really like the gods, Kurf and Ison. I think even though they have small chapters, and they only have like 3 of them, I still like their interactions. I also really like the villains of this story. Thagoth, Athagos, and the Sorcerer King. I think they're really interesting because we actually get a lot of interactions with them where they're not just like downright, oh, I'm trying to kill the main characters, blah, 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 blah. We actually get to interact with them in different ways where Thagoth is stuck and impaled and is trying to escape to make the world his paradise. And Amra kind of goes back and forth between absolutely hating him and dealing with him because it's absolutely necessary. And kind of not similar with Athagos, but there is more interaction there versus like a monster or something like that where it's just pure killing. There's actually more interaction, which I appreciated. I think I've said interaction like 15 times this video. Keep track. Tell me at the end. So my score for this video is 6.5. It wasn't as good as the first one. I think there were a couple major downfalls for me, like not talking about the Eightfold Goddess and just the setting in general. Just how it goes. If Austin were here, he'd probably give this like a 3.75. He would not have liked it. It was too much of a departure from the first book for him. But I'm just putting words in his mouth, so whatever. It was enjoyable, but not as good as the first one. Related stuff, see the first video. I described stuff there. This one was a little too different to be able to like pull individual books that I think represented it. Great. For this week's Boosted, we're going to do something different, something that I like. Metal dice. Look at this. Look at these. Look at them. They're loud. Ooh, that really... ooh, that was really dumb. That's... Oh, God, that waveform. I just look at my waveform. Okay. Well, regardless, I like metal dice. I think they're awesome. I like the heft of them and how they sound. I don't like acrylic dice anymore now that I've gotten metal dice. I think these are way more fun. It's fun to throw this kind of heavy dice into a tray or on the table and hear it clunk, 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 clunk around and roll. So if you like dice, you should look into getting metal dice because they're awesome and they're really fun and they make fun sounds. And I like the magic click-clack dice. All right, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you like it, well, I dropped a bunch of dice. If you liked it, you know what to do. It's YouTube. Do whatever you want now. Thanks, and I actually will be back soon with the 3rd book because I'm almost done with it. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah. I hope you guys have... Why did I do that? I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.